Hello, this is Dr. Kilgore with Dr. Kilgore's World with a flipped math learning video about the order of operations. So our learning goal for this video is I can use the order of operations to solve problems. Okay, so let's talk about what this order of operations is. We math teachers teach students a phrase called PEMDAS, sometimes refer to it as "please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." So for PEMDAS, the P is for parentheses. We also have brackets and braces that surround steps of the problem. So P, parentheses, brackets, and braces. E is our next step. That is for exponents. Now, when we talk about exponents, you'll see 10 to the second power. All that means is that we did the math 10 times 10. So 10 to the second power equals 100. P, E. M is for multiplication. And D I'm going to talk about at the same time because M and D are on the same level of PEMDAS. We do them from the left to the right. It's kind of like McDonald's. Whatever comes first goes first. So multiplication and division, and then A and S is on the same level because that's our addition and subtraction. It is just like multiplication and division. You think McDonald's, whatever comes first goes first. So when I start an order of operations problem, I find it's easy to put P, E, M, D, A, S on my paper. That way I can check them off as I've made sure to solve them in their order. We always start with parentheses, brackets, and braces. We solve them from the inside out. We then look for exponents. We multiply and divide from left to right. Whichever comes first goes first. And then we add and subtract from left to right. Same deal. So when we have a problem that is like this, order of operations says to start with our parentheses. I'm going to underline the step that I'm going to do first because that helps keep my brain organized in what work I'm doing. So 5 plus 3 is 8. And then I copy down the rest of the problem. We're left with 8 times 7. That's my next step. 8 times 7 is 56. So I always work one step at a time and I move the work down. Let's go ahead and look at another example. I start with P, E, M, D, A, S. Okay, so let's look at another example. We have 66 divided by 11 plus 5. Okay, so we start PEMDAS, parentheses, we don't have any. Exponents, we don't have any. Multiply and divide from left to right. We have a division sign. So we underline our first step, this number divided by this number. We solve it. 66 divided by 11 would be 6. Copy down the rest. And now we have 6 plus 5. Underline the step that we're on. 6 plus 5 is 11. Okay, let's try a little bit more difficult of an example. Let's get our PEMDAS. I'm going to go ahead and have 4 numbers this time. And let's put in some parentheses right there. Okay, so notice on this problem that I put a dot in the middle. When we start working problems with order of operations, oftentimes our multiplication sign turns into a dot. That is because x is oftentimes used as a variable, and it could really confuse someone. So we turn multiplication into a dot, or sometimes with parentheses, there's no sign. So if there's no sign, it means multiply. So let's look at PEMDAS. Starts with parentheses. We have some. So we solve that step first. I underline so that my brain knows that's what I'm solving. 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract 11, add 3. Now I've got a few more steps to do here because there were more numbers in my problem. So our next step, parentheses, nope. Exponents, nope. Multiply, divide, nope. We are on add and subtract. And remember, it's like McDonald's. It goes from left to right. So we start on the left. The first thing we come upon is 35, subtract 11. I know subtracting 11 is like subtracting 10 and then subtract one more. So 35 minus 10 would be 25. Subtract one more would be 24. Copy down the rest of the problem. Underline the step we're solving. Addition. 24 plus 3 is 27. Let's go ahead and do another one down here on the bottom. PEMDAS. Okay, let's look at this one. Notice I have no sign here, so what does that mean? That means multiply. So we start with PEMDAS, parentheses. Yes, 3 times 4. So we solve it. It's 12. Oops, my color didn't change back. I'm going to leave the parentheses because that 2 is there. Okay, so the next step, parentheses. Yeah, but they're just a placeholder. It really means 2 times 12. So I'm going to work 2 times 12 because we don't have any exponents. That would get rid of all parentheses. 2 times 12 is 24. Copy down the rest. 24 minus 4 is 20. Let's go ahead and give one more practice here before we move on. P, E, M, D, A, S. Notice it gets a little bit more difficult as we go. Okay, so we're starting out with parentheses. We have two sets of parentheses. We're going to solve the one on the left first. So we have 7 plus 5 would be 12. We've got that 2 hanging out here again. We could put a multiply sign and 2, copy down. We don't want to lose these parentheses when we copy the rest of our problem down. They're important to make sure we use our order of operations. Do we have parentheses? Yes. 3 plus 4 is 7. Copy down everything. We need our next step. Do we have parentheses? No. Do we have exponents? No. Do we have multiplication and division? Yes, we do. 12 times 2 is 24. Subtract 7 equals, well, 24. We could break apart 7 into 4 plus 3. Use that number bond. 24 minus 4 is 20. 20 minus 3 would be 17. Okay, so this has been your first little taste of order of operations and how to use PEMDAS to solve algebraic equations.